Hello, and welcome to RPG Limit Break. Tonight we have the final race of the first elimination bracket stage of the 2019 Dragon Warrior Randomizer tournament. As luck would have it, two strong runners will be colliding tonight, and only one will be moving on to the round of 16 to face the number 6 seeded High Spirits. We have WillWagnerMusic against Angel FM tonight. WillWagnerMusic comes in at the 11 seed at 4-1. He got there by defeating CD Improv in the first round, victory over Ursine Desure in the second round, then dropped a race against Jay Coper in a jet seed in the third round, before bouncing back in a very long seed against Archfield Monk, took the victory there, and then a close win over Smashy in round 5 to finish up at 4-1. He'll be bumping up tonight against Angel FM, whose only two losses were against Mr. Holmes and Ness Cardinality, two of the elite runners in this competition. So that puts him at 3-2. Got there by defeating the Seawolf 1 in the first round. Victory over Silverfire in the second round before losing to Mr. Holmes. Then went 3-1 by defeating Braxis Muse, and then lost a tough race to Ness Cardinality. Puts him at 3-2, and we should note that the seedings for the elimination stages are 100% determined by the results of the 5 Swiss rounds of racing, which took place in the weeks immediately prior to this round. No other information was factored into the seedings, and many of the players who qualified were all tied with the same record at the conclusion of the Swiss portion of the tournament. Through a series of tiebreakers largely beyond the players' control, their seedings were determined, and this first round pairing for the bracket stage was set. But make no mistake, both of these runners are highly ranked overall, and we're surely in for a close and competitive matchup tonight. Joining me tonight is my excellent co-commentator, RyGuy3745. How's it going tonight?
Hello, it's going pretty good. Like you said, this is a pretty awesome race we got going here. Finishing up first round. As Lorgon pointed out in chat, Angel FM's been doing amazing since he first started a few months ago. So he's going to be off and running real quick. And Will Wagner, no slouch himself. He believe he made it to the finals in that league back in January. So he can Dragon Warrior a little bit too. He also plays Dragon Warrior for Rando, just saying. So this should be a really, really awesome race here.
Yeah, loving this start. We got 5 strength to work with the Radiant spell, so we'll have to be looking for some help from the throne room. Battle of the Big Z's, so they're both emphasizing strength and HP growth. So let's see what we have here tonight.
Yeah, they start with Radiance. They can light up those slimes, right? Is that how you do it?
I'm not so sure that would be effective, but Fighter's Ring will give them an extra 2 offensive power, and the gold will enable them to potentially upgrade their equipment early on if they might be able to find a nearby town. So it's a question of whether or not the runners will come back in here to save the gold immediately. Oftentimes with unusually poor starting stats, they will both be doing just that here. And there's going to be swamp outside. How much swamp? We'll have to wait until we see what happens when they step outside.
Yeah, you're right. Thank goodness for that Fighter's Ring. That'll get us up to 7 attack power real quick, and I just hope we don't have to do a swamp grind.
Yeah, this looks ugly because they only have 12 HP here. So they're not going to be able to get out from the starting zone, and a couple of steps and we see a wolf already. So the initial zone is pretty small. So if they want to deal with this, they are going to have to look for slimes and red slimes in the swamp here immediately surrounding the castle, because they're not going to be able to make it to the town with that gold. So this is it, guys. Let's see if they're going to continue this, and this could get ugly.
Nah, this is, a couple people in chat point out, this is a pretty clear reroll. I mean, you get, 6 steps in the swamp. We're finding scorpions and wolves even. You got to wander around and do, 5 slimes, 5 blue slimes, or 3 red slimes in those first 6 steps. Nah, I don't think they're even going to put up with this for very long.
Maybe fish for a crit against a Drakey or a Ghost or something, but so far they're both kind of moving along. This might be a good time to shout out to our restreamer, CD Improv tonight. Nice roll. This is a good seed we got here. And who we got on the tracking tonight, Bry Guy?
Cyberdark is our tracker tonight. He's with us a lot, so we're glad to have him. I don't think he's gonna have much to track here, though. Oh, he's got deaths to track. I should does that.
Yeah, so they both still have 0 experience points, guys. It's a tied race, and we're still tied.
Has either one even dealt damage to anything yet?
I'm actually not sure if anyone's tried to take a swing at anything, because all we've seen, I think, are scorpions and wolves and things of that nature. I think Angel FM's on the right track here by staying very close to the castle, because if you venture up to the north like Will is doing, that seems to be the second zone where the wolves are lurking, and you're not going to be able, unless you go maybe diagonal to get into a random zone like Will's trying to do now, because then maybe you can bump into a metal slime if you're really lucky. But barring that, you're going to want to stay in these squares immediately adjacent to the castle to give yourself the best chance of staying in the primary zone, which is where the red slimes and the slimes are more likely to be. Here's a Drakey for Angel, so a crit against the Drakey would actually work most of the time. Unfortunately, no luck there.
Yeah,
but they exist.
They exist, but you got to run into them with 7 attack power. You got to run into them with a fair amount of your HP, like first or second step.
Yeah, every step into this swamp takes away 2 HP, and they're only starting with 12. If they were to switch to a strength agility build, they might get an extra step. They might get to 13 or 14 HP to start the seed, but that's still not enough to get them out of the swamp on level 1. But it might potentially give them, 1 or 2 extra hit points against a Drakey fight. Here's a Drakey for Will, so now he knows they exist. And that's 1 step away from the castle. So this is basically the best possible chance that he would have to defeat one. He's done about 3 damage. Unfortunately, with their relatively low agility, the Drakeys are doing some damage. But it was a low HP Drakey. That one only had 4 HP. And he was able to hit it 4 consecutive times thanks to that fighter's ring. So WillWagnerMusic is on the board with 3 experience points. 1 more Drakey victory would get him to level 2, and he's going to save immediately with the king, so that if he wants to hit that reset button, the experience points are preserved.
Yeah, resetting after death is a bit faster. The other thing I should point out too is how much more HP do we need to get out of this swamp? We might not get enough HP on level 2 to even get out of this swamp, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, it looks like they're 5 or 6 steps away from getting to the edge of the swamp. They would need a good 12 or 15 hit point gain on level 2, which is kind of an unusual amount to ask for 1 level. So yeah, on the other hand, they might get a large strength gain, so all of a sudden they'd be fighting and 2-shotting those Magidrakies and Scorpions that they keep bumping into, but I have not seen a single slime or red slime right guy. It's really just this Drakey, and the Drakey is not a sure thing, even on that first step. It just so happened that Will was able to hit it 4 consecutive times, and it had only 4 HP. So I'm trying to think now. 7 attack power. I think you are guaranteed to hit the Drakey. Yes, 1 to 2 damage against the Drakey. So you're not going to miss. But yeah, 1 to 2, and 2 would be a lot more uncommon. Most of the time, you're going to do 1 damage.
I thought I saw Angel missed or did 0 damage to the Drakey early on, but maybe that wasn't right. But yeah, maybe even if you get a lot of strength,
the ring yet, maybe.
Oh, maybe that's possible. Yeah. But yeah, if you even if you get a bunch of strength, you're still stuck wandering the swamp looking for something to kill before you die. It's not exactly the most fun start.
I think Angel is doing more of the sticking next to the castle than Will is, and I'm trying to determine where that boundary is and what have we actually seen in the primary zone. We definitely saw the Magidraki here. I don't know. We definitely haven't seen a slime or a red slime. This Scorpion, it's unclear if that was in the primary zone. It surely might be, which means if it is, then we're dealing with Magidrakis and Scorpions clogging up 2 of the enemy slots. And sometimes they're doubled up as well. So if it's really just Scorpions, Magidrakis, and Drakeys, that makes this even more brutal. But here's a red slime for Angel FM. It has 3 hit points. He's low on HP himself, so this is... Oh, and it does 2 damage. Woo! we have a red slime, guys. All is not lost.
Oh man, we're at 3-2.
I am very impressed that they have not immediately asked for a reseed. They're both wanting to stick this out. I think that's a bold move. It'll be fun to see how this progresses. There's a chance that this is a very high RNG situation where one runner could get off to level 2, 10 minutes before the other one if things just go that way. But hopefully it works out that they'll both get this next victory within a minute or so of each other.
Well, and hopefully level 2 gives us something to help us out. If we get
Right.
low power and low HP, like I think we might see some reroll requests real fast. I don't think any of them want to do this till 17 experience.
Yeah, you just get the 0 burger, the just 0 strength, 0 HP, and you'd be like, and no spells. But we'll cross that bridge hopefully soon. There's also a magician nearby. How have we not seen this magician yet after all these encounters? So it looks like red slime, Drakey, magician, Magidraki, and scorpion. So all 5 slots are filled, each one at approximately 20%. It's actually slightly varying from slot to slot, but that's the lineup there. Unless that scorpion was in a different zone, it's hard to tell still where the boundary is exactly. But and Will with the very rapid reset, he just takes 3 or 4 steps then resets. You don't want to necessarily encounter something when you only have 2 HP remaining. You might not even be able to beat a red slime at that point.
Oh, Angel's going to pick up a red slime on his first step out, so this is a easy way to get up to 4 experience.
Yeah, and thankfully, Rye Guy, it seems at least so far that the red slime and the Drakey do not have any special abilities, because that could make things even more ridiculous. And unfortunately, the Drakey encounter on his last HP here, and he's not going to survive it.
Yeah, but
it's 4-3. We have a change in the experience point lead here.
Yeah, Angel's starting to get some nice encounter rates, or encounters there. He got the red slime, and like you mentioned, he got the Drakey right afterwards, so he knows where to look now, at least.
Here's also one of the dangers, Guy, of using the reset button after dying, is that sometimes you can get caught in a little bit of an RNG loop where it's possible that Will just not get an encounter over and over again if he uses like the same pattern to exit the castle each time. I guess people that know how those things work can maybe correct me on this, but I think it's possible.
Right, yeah, it's possible. I think Beta has it right in chat. You just bonk a wall a couple times to get yourself out of one of those little loops, and I think you're okay. I'm not sure if he's been doing that.
Yeah, it seems like he's gone through 10 or 15 walks through the swamp now with no encounter. You only get 5 or 6 steps, and the encounter rate, I think, is only 1 out of 16. Maybe we have some people in chat that know for sure. So, on average, you're not going to get an encounter, but you should be getting one, once in a while. And Will is going through many trips through the swamp now with no encounter, and he's hitting that reset button in between. I believe Angel has not been resetting. I think he's just like letting the game flow here. So
yeah,
a little
Angel
bit of a difference.
Angel is not. Will is saving a little bit of time with that reset, but yeah, you might want to bonk every once in a while just to get out of one of these things.
I know when I'm in this situation, sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually like walk around for a few steps and then actually resave with the game. Just completely get out of this particular save, But
yeah, Angel's got
we have another red
though.
slime. Woo, what do we have?
We're out of here.
The spell of heal will enable them to exit the swamp, guys. But remember, when you exit to the north, I believe they are already going to be in the north zone here. I'm not so sure there's going to be anything here to kill. Like, this wolf is not on the table right now, but we have a town and a cave.
Oh, a town. Let's go spend that starting gold. Oh, wait.
But wait, is there gold in this chest? There is!
Oh, how about that?
Oh!
We can ghetto grind for anything we want, pretty much.
Oh my goodness. Oh, but there's an armored knight right outside.
Oh!
That was the most ridiculous runaway from an armored knight in this tournament so far. I don't think it's been done with less agility than that, guys.
Wow.
Somebody dial up the odds of running from an armored knight with 13 agility, please. I want to know. So immediately going for keys, because this happens to be a Rimildar of all things. And then we can worry about getting some equipment later. You can raid that, as you said, you can raid that gold chest in that Stones of Sunlight cave repeatedly for as much equipment as you desire. What a start.
Yeah, you could grab a large shield, a broadsword, a full plate, any of that stuff. If it's here, you could grab. Yeah, I was about to agree with Furon in chat there. I was going to say, oh, knowing this seed will be Hawksness, but it turned out to be the exact opposite. Probably the best town you could find. Remote.
Oh my gosh, look at the choices. So if in order to get a weapon, you would have to grind all the way up to 9,800 gold for that flame sword. And there's actually a pretty good chance while you're doing that you'll get an encounter such as the Armored Knight, on the one step that you have to take out of the cave each time. So I don't know exactly what he's going to go for. There's a chainmail available there, which he didn't purchase. I don't know. What's he going to do here? We're going in for more gold. Are we going all the way to the flame sword, guys? Time will tell.
I think I agree with Lorgon in chat here. He's got keys. He can check out the treasury. First of all, he might just find a big sword in there you could use. But also, depending on what's underneath the castle, there might be a gold grind available.
Can you imagine spending the time to get this flame sword, and then you just go into the treasury and the Erdrick sword is there?
Yeah, I wonder, was there a full plate in Remolder? Is that what he's going for, maybe?
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of expensive stuff. There might be a full plate. I think there's definitely chainmail. It went flame sword, clothes, chainmail, and then 2 expensive things. I don't know if the silver shield might be there. Wow, what a start though. And here's the thing. So you take a step out of the cave and you get a wolf that sends you home. So now maybe he'll think to himself, maybe I should check this treasury. And poor Will must be sweating it now. We're 14 minutes into the seed, and he has 3 experience points, guys. I mean, what do you do?
I think you're right. Oh, speaking of which, there you go. There's the sword. So good thing he did not, and a replacement key too. Why not? So no need to get the flame sword anymore.
Oh, but there's no gold in the treasury, is there?
Not in the treasury, but there could be some underneath the castle, depending on what cave that is.
And Elena forcibly bonking that guard out of the way so she could exit the treasury there. But we're going to go in towards the basement, possibly refresh for more keys on the way through. And big stick in hand for Angel. This race could get out of hand very quickly.
Now, since we last talked about it, Will still has not gotten an encounter, right? Like, he must be stuck in one of these loops, because I have not seen one over there for a very long time.
Yeah, and not only that, but I'm still troubled by the fact that Will continues to be walking up into the next zone. You need to be staying right adjacent to the castle here, because the border of the next zone is only a few steps out, where he might finally get an encounter and it'll be a wolf.
Oh, and the dream of a gold grind might still be alive.
Yeah, there was some good stuff in addition to the flame sword. Maybe somebody knows for sure, but I think there might be a silver shield. There might be a full plate, as you mentioned.
Ooh, he opened up the gold chest first, but he gets another gold chest.
What a start! Angel FM can grind. He saw what was in that Rimildar shop. Now there's also a shop right here in Garenham, but in order to do that, you would have to exit the town, or I guess you could use one of your keys here if you wanted to go check it out. Yeah, because he has plenty of keys already, so.
Yeah, and I definitely remember seeing the silver shield up in Remolder, so he can at least get that. The full plate was in Remolder too. I didn't see a magic armor, but full plate and silver shield, that'll do all your defensive needs for a while.
Yeah, so here's the thing though, there's no gold chest in the treasury, so you can't just take a step into the cave here and die, because that doesn't do you any good. You actually have to make it all the way back through the cave and then walk back to that town. So if it were me, I would actually spend a key here and go check this shop right here in Garenham, and you don't have to have any encounters. You could just go right over there. Plus, we're down to 3 MP. You might as well go take an in-stop, because you do have the heal spell to work with just in case. So now I think this might be herbs over here that he's grinding. So nice sequence of grinding. We have enough for the magic armor and the silver shield, I believe, and he is going to use a key in order to check out the shop and potentially stay at the inn and maybe go get some items. All sorts of things happening for Angel FM while WillWagnerMusic tries his hardest to find a red slime.
Oh, there was magic armor in Garanham, so now Angel knows the silver shield is back in Remulder. He's going to have all the best defensive gear that money can buy.
Yep, we don't have the return spell. We do have wings! Oh, we have the wings! So it doesn't have to risk going through any more encounters. We can take a safety save right here at the castle. Great heads up play by Angel FM. We're going to lock in this gold just in case some kind of shenanigans occur right outside of the town of Rimuldar, where we saw those armored knights lurking. Great play here. We're going to make a safety save. We have the heal spell to be able to get out of the swamp. So here we go.
Oh, and poor Will got an encounter one step out of the castle finally, but it was the wrong color Drakey.
Yeah, and still has not seen, I don't even think he's seen a red slime, right? And they do exist. So how long do you have to go before just not seeing the right enemy? If we have Spark over in chat, maybe she could answer that. She went through a race where she didn't get the enemy for an hour. the particular enemy that she was looking for. So, you know, the luck can really go poorly for a very long time sometimes. We'll have to see here.
Yeah, how about this turn of events? I mean, it was, about 10 minutes ago we were saying they're going to reseed for sure. They're walking around the swamp, and all of a sudden, Angel FM has keys. He's found Garanham. He's found Remulder. He's got all the best gear. I mean, what a turnaround.
Yeah, and if you're Angel, I mean, you're just assuming that Will probably had the same luck or maybe even better luck getting off level 2 and is maybe running around doing all these same things. So, I mean, there's no time to relax for Angel. We got to get moving. We got all the equipment now. At level 2, he's just off and running, not even bothering to grind. Finds another town, but it's Breckenary. There's no more equipment to be purchased, so no reason to go in there at any point. And we have armored knights immediately, so you may actually want to try and find that secondary zone and maybe kill a couple of wolves here before going too much further. We're still only on level 2, guys.
Yeah, exactly. The wolf would be great right now. I mean, a wolf would shoot us up to level 4 real fast, so certainly take one of them.
WillWagnerMusic cannot find another enemy to defeat. Just 2 experience points away from completely unlocking the seed for himself. But now we're approaching 20 minutes, and he is stuck at the castle.
Yeah, but the good news is for Will, if he gets those last 2 experience, he finally runs into a red slime. He's going to be able to do everything that Angel did in pretty quick order. I mean, he's going to find Remulder fast. He's going to have keys fast. He's going to go into Garanham. He'll be able to do all that stuff really quickly.
I'm still not sure that I like the fact that he's like walking north and potentially could find an enemy in the wrong zone here. You know, you really want to stick close to the castle where that red slime was popping up, and that's where he found the Drakey as well. But just can't get an encounter. This is tough. So meanwhile, Angel FM is fighting Druid Lords, which is, it seems a little bit ambitious, but does manage to take it down with Erdrick's sword. Just 61 attack power, but it is enough in this case. Probably had a 50-50 shot there to do enough damage. Gets just kind of a mediocre stat gain, but we're up to level 5 already. And the strength score is kind of moving along slowly. Get a Sharlock sighting, but that's not... I don't know that I would consider that to be Sharlock being found, because you actually can't enter Sharlock from this area. The entrance is on the other side.
That was kind of a trolly Sharlock. We're not even sure we can get to it on this continent, but we've seen it, so yay.
Hooray! So now we know where we have to go to finish the game here, guys. You want to explain what it takes to do that, right, guy?
It takes escaping this evil swamp first. But yeah, in order to kill the Dragon Lord is very against being killed. He's very tired of people coming trying to kill him all the time, so he's built a cute little moat around his castle. In order to bridge that, we need to literally build a bridge. Looks like main continent's not much. They're going to have to go over to the swamp side, it looks like. They're going to have to build a bridge. In order to build this bridge, they need the rainbow drop. And for the rainbow drop, you need to acquire 3 different items. You need to acquire the silver harp, the stones of sunlight, and the Erdrick's token. The stones of sunlight, Angel already found in the treasury, so that one's accounted for. Once you find those 3 things, you got to look out on the overworld somewhere. There's an old man in a cave that's willing to trade you your silver harp for a brand shiny new Staff of Rain. And once you get those 3 things, the Staff of Rain, Stones of Sunlight, and Erdrick's token, there's yet another cave you have to find somewhere that houses a jerk. And this jerk will take your 3 items and create a rainbow drop for you. If you don't have the 3 items, he'll promptly kick you out of his cave, get off my lawn, and that's why he is a jerk. So at this point, Angel's got all the best gear in the game. He's not really looking for gear anymore. He's looking for that silver harp. He's looking for that Erdrick's token. He has to find his Erdrick's armor too, I suppose. But and he's also looking for those trade-in spots as well.
So meanwhile, as mentioned before, Will has been going directly north, and he took about 3 steps north, or like in this case, 3 steps north, and it was a warlock. So you're in the wrong zone at that point. That is definitely the north zone because he's going directly north. He wasn't going diagonal in any way. So you want to stay south of that line here in order to stay in the primary zone. So those wolves and stuff that we saw before kind of to the northeast, that was definitely the north zone. Not sure if we've necessarily seen the east zone. You might, I think we saw him kind of going along the coastline to the east as well, but really want to stick right next to the castle here. He saw the Drakey 1 step away earlier, and I don't think he has been lucky enough to even see the red slime. But yeah, you're not going to do well against the warlock just yet.
Yeah, I wonder, does he think maybe he found the Drakey up north? Is that why he keeps going north? Maybe he thinks the Drakey's part of that that zone 1 up.
Yeah, it's possible that that's what he remembers, but I remember it being 1 step north and 1 step east of the castle when he found that Drakey, so it was really close to home. And there's that wolf again, so I mean, these are just not the right enemies to be looking for. I mean, I guess maybe he figures that by the time you've lost like 3 or 4 steps worth of HP, then it's not going to work out for you anyway, and you might as well just take the quicker trip home by running into a strong enemy that can one-shot you, you know? So he's just maybe hoping for the 1st or 2nd step to be the encounter. But on the 3rd step, you're into the wrong zone. So tough sledding for Will now. We're 24 minutes in. He has the 3 experience points, just needs 1 more victory. And Angel, did he go through Swamp Cave again? I think I saw him going back through the basement of the castle. And maybe is exploring over there.
Yeah, he went through Swamp Cave, but I think a Star Wyvern kicked him out. But it looks like Main Continent ends pretty quickly after Breckenary and Garenham. So not Garenham, Remulder. So I think you might have to go over to Swamp to make any sort of exploration.
Actually, he's looking for this Druid Lord. There's a Druid Lord in these hills. It's the same spot that I saw him fight one earlier. And now he's actually looking for that enemy specifically because with all this equipment, he actually is defense breaking it. So it's like a sure 50-something experience points with the Erdrick Sword. Now, unfortunately, there's Axe Knights and Green Dragons here as well. But he is 2-shotting and sometimes 3-shotting the Druid Lord. It does have Baby Breath, so I'm not really sure that this is like a perfect grind zone here for him, but it is enough to get to level 7 pretty quickly.
Yeah, I wonder how long he'll hang out here and do this. I know, I would be thinking with all my brand new gear and everything, I'd want to get some exploring done, and I try to pick up experience on the way. He did get stopped by a Star Wyvern, so maybe he just wants to grab a few extra levels here before he goes out. But you never know. You got to get the exploration done at some point.
But yeah, reasonably decent agility for the level, and with all this defensive gear, if he can find some of the the 3rd tier enemies, that would be ideal. The Spectre, the Wolf Lord, like the Druid Lord that he was just finding. Well, he's defense breaking all those enemies as long as they don't have special abilities. And that's actually right near the castle. Now I see where they are. I just caught a glimpse of the castle there. So just to the east, getting out of that swamp, is that zone with the Druid Lord. And actually later on in the game, if for some reason they needed an overworld grind, that could be a really good situation because I think there were Green Dragons and Axe Knights there. So something to keep in mind for later. But for now, he's maybe going to go back through the Swamp Cave here.
Yeah, it looks like he just went to level 7. Level 8 is at 600 experience, so it would take a few Druid Lords, a bunch of Druid Lords to get there. So it looks like he's happy with his level 7, his extra MP. He has lots of heals now, and he'll go see what's on Swamp Continent.
Yeah, picked up the hurt spell along the way somewhere. That's not going to be particularly useful now that they have Erdrick's Sword, but And looks like the Star Wyvern has something to say about him getting away. Although with 44 agility, probably about a coin flip to run, and he's able to do it. And with the heal spell, you can just top off afterwards. So now we're on the second continent, exiting Garanham. And look at this map. Lots of rivers and bridges to
Oh,
navigate.
look, swamp. Hooray.
And a spark over tile. Very nice. Oh, there's no item there, Ryguy. What the?
Oh, this was the chance. I did see in chat, sorry, I missed who it was, but someone was saying that they hoped that Erdrick's armor was not on the overworld right next to the castle. That would be incredibly cruel.
And I mean, I can't believe there was no item there on that spot. And you know, about half the time there would be an item there, but he's going to move on maybe to the east out of the swamp here. There's a little bit more. I thought that some of those land masses to the south were part of this, but I didn't see any bridges connecting. So, but there is more swamp. Wow. So while Angel treks along through here to try and figure out a way to find some, it's going to search another spark over area. And there's no item there either.
Oh. Wow. There's just so many little Sparkover islands. There's also a lot of swamp and a lot of mountains, too. Those are some of the higher encounter tiles. So we may see a lot of encounters, which I guess could be good for Angel if he's looking to grind up a little bit as he explores around.
So WillWagnerMusic is, he has 3 experience points. And his COD counter is rising rapidly. Our tracker has a task tonight. Look at what the tracker has had to deal with here. We have 28 deaths so far for Angel FM and 76 deaths. Make that 77 deaths for WillWagnerMusic. And here's a search spot for Angel, and it's Erdrick's.
Well, the token's still a nice one to get. It's one that, like, it could be in a chest or it could be on the overworld, so checking it off is good. Now you know that you just find your harp, and that's all you really care about in a treasure chest.
All right, so that's 2 out of 3 quest items, actually, for Angel, just like that. Just needs to find the silver harp somewhere, which is guaranteed to be in a treasure chest. One of the many that still remain unopened. But 2/3 of the way there, and also has Erdrick's sword in hand already. And the Erdrick's armor is guaranteed to be on one of the search spots. And one of them has already been searched, so armor will now be somewhere on the overworld, requiring an old man in Cantlin to point the way, or it could be in the town of Hawksness, guarded by an endgame enemy. Time will tell.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about finding the token there, is that now Angel only has to care about, like you said, the silver harp and maybe the death necklace out of a treasure chest. So there's a potential to skip a whole lot of treasure chests, just not have to waste time exploring, maybe Mountain Cave or Grave or something like that.
Yep, now this is one of the enemies you typically don't want to run into. It is the mighty red dragon, who seems to have a lot of bite in this one. I didn't see any special abilities, but even with the magic armor and the silver shield, taking high 30s in damage, and is promptly sent back home. So a choice to be made: do we go back through Swamp Cave, or are we exploring main continent? Seems to want to go in the direction of the Swamp Cave yet again.
Yeah, I think main continent is pretty much just a little island with the 2 towns, so I think he has to.
Yeah, we're very close actually to level 8 for Angel, and I'm wondering if he happens to pick up heal more or hurt more, if he might check the spike tile on the way through here. Without those 2 abilities, probably no point in really checking it. You can do that at any time, but right now he's just not getting an encounter, so he's just going to pass on by. Head back to the second continent. And how's WillWagnerMusic doing, Ryguy?
Oh man, he's got to be convinced that Drakey's in that northern zone, because he keeps going up there. Tracker's got him at 81 deaths, and I think probably about 75 of those have been due to swamp. So I'm sure if he never sees swamp again, he'll be quite happy.
Yeah, I will be very interested to ask them both after this race if and why they didn't ask for a reseed in this situation. Like, I would just not want my tournament life to come down to this randomness. Like, one player got the enemies and one is just not getting them. I mean, this is the problem with this particular type of start. Sure, it is doable. Like, this seed is finishable, But just the fact that this can happen where through no fault of Will's, really, he just has not seen the red slime yet. It's so brutal. Now, I really wish he would stop going into the north zone, because he's not going to find the red slime up there, most likely. He's got to stick next to the castle to find it, but still, you would think by now he would have seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I know for myself, as soon as I saw that we were going to have to do a swamp grind, and as soon as I saw we couldn't get out of the swamp with our HP way back at level 1, I would have had that reseed request in real fast. Just would not, even if there were slimes all over the place, it's a pain to have to go through and take your 5 steps and kill a slime, take your 5 steps, kill a slime. And then, of course, what's happened to Will here could easily happen too, where you sit around here for half an hour looking for one stupid slime and you can't get it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what his plan is, because he saw the Drakey, which isn't a sure kill at this point. And now, he keeps going north into the north zone and running into warlocks. Maybe he just, if by now you haven't seen a red slime, you probably are thinking that they don't exist. So now you're thinking, well, it doesn't really matter, whatever it is, I'm just going to have to, get a critical. I'm wondering, what his plan is here.
Yeah, but he saw the Drakey. That's why I think maybe he thought the Drakey was up north, because he's got to want to find one more of those Drakeys.
Right, and I'm pretty sure, and maybe my memory is failing, but I'm pretty sure it was one step north and one step east of the castle, but maybe, I don't know. Tough situation. So he's going after the Scorpion with thinking about maybe getting a critical on the Scorpion. The problem there is that even a critical hit here, the most damage you can do with a critical hit is only 7 damage, because it's basically whatever your strength score is, or your attack power. That's the most you can do, even with an excellent move, and the Scorpion always has more than 7 hit points. That's why you really need to find the Drakey. You can't be attempting fights against those types of monsters yet.
Yeah, plus I'm not sure if Will saw it, but we know that the Scorpion has DL2 breath, so, I mean, you'd have to get a really fast crit, even if it was worth it.
Alright, so Angel did get level 8, which I think was Stop Spell added to the arsenal, and there hasn't really been much reason to necessarily use that along the way. Seems to be, he's well geared, he's got over 80 hit points max, he's got the heal spell, so not too worried about enemies casting Hurt More. And
a Drakey's appeared. Will might be out of here. Oh, but he got back attack, so I don't know if he's going to be able to get enough off.
Yeah, and I hope he takes note of how close he is to the castle here, if this doesn't work out.
Yeah, at the very least, he'll now know where he can find the Drakey, so hopefully he just goes back and forth between those squares. Ooh, Angel's got Hawksness and possibly an armor, maybe?
So most of the time, the Drakey does have 5 hit points, I believe, and the first time that Will did get the victory, that one had only 4 hit points, which is kind of rare. In this case, I don't know if he just did 3 damage or 4 damage, but not quite enough to take that one. But he's still going up and out of the zone. And
did he find that Drakey one step north of the castle? I missed where he found that last Drakey.
He was he was very close to the castle again, just this last time. So Angel is going to check out the zone that's in Hawksness here. These desert tiles, just wants to see what's going on here. Doesn't really have the correct spells to be able to take on a boss tile, so maybe is just hoping to get the next level first, which is at 975. This Wyvern actually would get him there, right? Or he might be 1 short. Yeah, he's one short. Okay.
But yeah, he's hoping for a Hurt More or something here to help him.
Yeah, Heal More or Hurt More pretty much is in most cases. Maybe the Sleep Spell would enable you to defeat a Stone Man, but let's see here. Wow, that was a very poor level up.
I mean,
not what he was looking for.
One thing lost here is that Angel's been picking up levels pretty quickly. Our strength score is kind of meh. Our agility score, HP and MP are looking good, but man, strength and agility could use some help. And looks like that's a blue dragon on the spike tile there.
Yeah, and they are particularly resistant to most spells, especially if he did have the sleep spell, that wouldn't do any good here. Yeah, so I'm not sure how much damage he just did, but he just doesn't have the correct situation here to be fighting a blue dragon. So we're going to need heal more most likely, or a lot more strength. The strength score's been lagging. Even with Erdrick's Sword, just wasn't doing enough damage there. I don't know how far away that was, but that's definitely a place that he doesn't want to let that go for too long. You want to go back to Hawksnest pretty quickly, because he's already seen the Spike Tile and Coal. So there's a pretty good chance that the armor could have been right there. So definitely want to keep track of that for later.
Yeah, although, I think Hawksnest, it seemed like it was a ways away, although maybe Angel was just exploring around, it's not as far as it seems, but you could do a blue dragon with Hurt More, they're 50-50 on that, so you land a couple, but he does have the magic armor. I mean, sure, Erdrick's armor has a bunch of extra goodies, but the magic armor will keep us protected for now anyway, so I don't know if he needs to rush back there. Once he gets his heal more, Hurt More, he can go back at his convenience, but magic armor will do for now.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to retry it on this level, but like every time he gets a level, he should be in the back of his mind, is it time to go check Hawksnest yet? Because the only other thing he needs is the Silver Harp. So it's either we need to track down these search spots, or he's done a lot of overworld exploration here, and we haven't seen a lot of treasure chests being opened.
Yeah, many of the caves are still missing, right? We haven't seen Mountain Cave or Grave. Neither of the trading cave.
It's funny because he has keys already, so he has access to all the chests. It's just a matter of finding those locations on the map. Majority of the chests will be in Mountain Cave and in Garen's Grave. Town of Garenham has 3, but he's seen those already by backing in. Yeah, so which chests are missing here? He's still looking for a Tablet Cave, I guess. Which dungeon is he still missing?
Yeah, I think all of them, right? I think you're right. There's the 1 in Tablet Cave, there's the 5 in Grave, the 3 upstairs and 2 downstairs, and there's the 5 in Mountain Cave. I believe those are the only ones that could have the Silver Heart.
Yeah, because he's already opened the ones in Tanticle Treasury, and the ones in Garenham, and the one in Remolder. And I think you saw the Stones Cave as well, so yeah, he's opened about half of them, and the other ones are just kind of somewhere out on the map. Just can't find them just yet. And with the way that the spells have been progressing, it's been a little bit of a slow progression, actually. We're 40 minutes in, we're still only on level 9, even with all this gear. Just the stats are low, and we haven't picked up Heal More or Hurt More yet, so... Like, trying this Star Wyvern, for example, it's a little ambitious, but, lands the stop spell. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, those Star Wyverns are quite spell happy, so the landing a stop spell makes them actually pretty easy to kill. Hey, there's the right side of Sharlock up there.
Aha, that's how you get in. And we have the Grave as well, so now we can open some more treasure chests. Ooh. Mainly looking for the Silver Harp.
Yeah, that's maybe not the way you'd prefer to find it. You might prefer to find, Wraith Knight. Definitely want to find that with a DL2 breath. But you prefer to find Mountain Cave first, maybe, because the Grave, be interesting to see if he dives down for the bottom 2 treasure chests, only needing the harp, if it's not up.
Yeah, and I didn't catch exactly how that battle went, but you definitely, when you don't have the armor, you want to always make a point of topping off your HP. You want to stay above 72 in a situation where you have a max above 72. Like, he has 83 max, just in case you find an enemy that has that ability. But maybe he had taken a hit already or something. It's tough because he had just walked through that swamp to get to that dungeon, so taking some damage there. But yeah, I always want to be mindful of that HP. That's actually one of the big things of the Erdrick's armor beyond this magic armor. Magic armor works well in resisting the Hurt More spell, but not so well against the Fire Breath.
Yeah, I'm not sure Angel can really be all that upset about a DL2 breath to the face, though, considering Will Wagner has now gone over triple digits in the swamp and still has not managed to find a red slime or another Drakey. He's only seen 2 Drakeys on his side this whole time.
Honestly, how is this possible? How can he be this far in and have seen 2 Drakeys and 0 red slimes?
I think what they're saying in chat is that Zone 0 has like 1 or 2 tiles near the castle, and that's it. So I think he's only been taking maybe 1 or 2 steps in that Zone 0.
you really need to stay right next to the castle here. I just don't understand why he keeps wandering off, and he's doing it repeatedly. But yeah, I'm not sure. But even so, you would think by now, just in the first step away from the castle, that you would have encountered one, right? So I don't know. So unlucky at this point for Will that it had to be a start like this. I mean, honestly, it's kind of a shame because he had a great tournament, and so we're 6 matches into the tournament, and his whole tournament is coming down to this situation. So kind of brutal. I feel for Will at this point. It's, you know, you would rather be eliminated from the tournament in a different manner, I would think. But well, maybe he'll get off to level 2 and find 5 or 6 metal slimes in a row, you know, and just get right back into this. And he's going to take another additional save here to do kind of like what we were talking about, is to just change up the RNG on your save file. So he resaved with the king just now.
Oh,
and now
finally, there he goes.
And he must be like, wow, there really are red slimes here? I've been 42 minutes walking around this swamp, and there were red slimes this whole time. Like, this must make him feel like he's even further behind. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
my opponent could have found this in 1 minute.
This is going to set him free, though, because now he's got his heal spell. He's going to find Remolder. He's going to do all that gold grind stuff as well. And let's see what's on the top of the grave here. Not much I didn't see. So if Will does something like, say, finds Mountain Cave before the grave or something, he could make up some time real fast by pulling that harp out of Mountain Cave, if that's where it is, while Angel's here exploring the grave.
So unfortunately, he thought he was going to get out, but he didn't. But he hopefully he realizes he picked up the heal spell. That's how you get out the first time. And then he's going to have to do that whole series of things that Angel did, where you have to buy the keys, and you got to make sure you go back and get the sword from the treasury. And then you're going to have to find a way to get some gold grind going for some of the rest of this equipment. I don't think realizes that he has the heal spell here.
Yeah, I think you're right.
There we go. Okay. We have heal. We can get out of here. Let's go, Will. Let's get on the board. And
yeah, this is, I mean, if Angel doesn't find anything in the bottom of this grave, that will be, how long has he been working on this? Between the first death and this one, that'll be, 8 to 10 minutes spent in this grave with nothing to show for it. And that could open the door a little bit for Will to catch up.
Yep, and so Will checks the town first and has no money, but he's going to be quickly rewarded with money if and when he gets to this cave. But no, there's a troll in the way.
Well, that's okay. He can get back there quick enough. That's sort of annoying, but he can get back there. He knows where to go now, so it won't take him long to get back there.
Just nothing but bad luck so far for WillWagnerMusic.
Yeah, how do you like that, Rando, right? You finally escape the swamp, and the game rewards you with fire breath to the face.
Yeah, and there are armored knights here as well. But, yeah, this scorpion also has an ability, and he's getting blocked in front. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, 2 fire breaths to the face. It's okay. He knows where to go, though. He can get out.
Still knows where to go. And Angel is in the bottom section of the grave now. I missed what was in the 4th chest, but...
he got the empty out of the 4th chest.
Alright, still looking for the harp. And we're running out of chests that it can be in. It could be in here. Let's see here. It's the death necklace, though, and that's one that could have also been in Sharlock, so it's nice to get that one out of the way. We're at 90 HP max. So not really ready for it yet, but it is good to have it because the strength score is kind of lagging behind. And that's the kind of situation where you're going to want to maybe use the death necklace later on. But so that's a good find. He made it all the way to the bottom, got the death necklace. He's going to have to find some other chests somewhere else to get that silver harp. Silver harp is required.
Yeah, and it looks like the silver harp is either in Tablet or Mountain Cave. So Will, again, could catch up if he doesn't go into the grave at all. He'd be missing the death necklace, but maybe you don't.
So what is happening with Will right now? I wonder if he's typing something in chat and whatnot, but he's got some gold now, and he should be able to afford all the keys. That's the first step. Maybe he's going to go get some weaponry? No. Let's go get some keys first. You can always go back and grab that chest as many times as you want. And as we mentioned, don't fall into that trap of like grinding your way all the way up for that flame sword, because Erdrick Sword is sitting right in the treasury. So yeah, let's get these keys.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go for the flame sword. I think he'd check the treasury and try for a more traditional gold grind out of there.
And I'm loving that Angel continues to go with the stop spell strats on the Star Wyvern. And unfortunately, this one resists and then counters with the stop spell of its own and lands the stop spell on Angel. So, battle of the stop spells there. Star Wyvern wins that round, but he's easily able to run away when that happens with 56 agility.
You call that a stop spell? Let me show you a stop spell.
Yes, and here's a hurt more as well. So yeah, Star Wyvern has the better spells. But Angel is a couple 100 points away from level 11, looking for the major spells that would really make himself invincible here. Right now, he still has to kind of pick and choose his battles, running from the Wraith Knight, as we saw before, had Dragon Lord 2 Breath. And just moving on, trying to find those last few caves.
Yep, so Will completes his exploration of main continent. He's about to find Breckenary. He doesn't know it yet, but he's about to find Breckenary.
So he didn't go yet back to the treasury. I guess he's just waiting for a death warp before doing so, which makes sense. You know, you'll be back there soon enough. And in the meanwhile, maybe he's going to almost get the hand axe, but not quite. Maybe small shield and copper sword. Picked up the chainmail earlier from Rimmildar, so he's got some starting gear here. Not too shabby. And has enough additional money for some fairy water or some herbs. So going to check out the other shops available here in the town of Breckenary.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure main continent was fairly small, so he'll be forced to go back to the castle before too long and get in that treasury. He'll find his sword and hopefully be able to initiate a gold grind out of Garanham, just like Angel.
So I guess one of the other main things that Angel wants, well, he finds a cave here, but at some point he may be looking for Cantlin so that he can see if there are coordinates. And because Hawksness right now is off the table, and that's the only other search spot. But he does find Mountain Cave, and most of the remaining chests for that Silver Harp will be here. So nice find for Angel. He's on low resources, finds the flute.
Ooh.
So,
Okay, the fairy flute does one thing and one thing only. It puts golems to sleep, which in very special circumstances could be useful. But no silver harp yet. This is the best chance to have it, right? If it's not here, it's got to be in Tablet Cave out there somewhere in the world.
Is that what we're down to now? Oh, yeah, he full cleared the bottom of the grave, right? So, yeah. Yep. And he saw all the ones in towns and castles. He saw the Stones Cave. So, yeah, Tablet Cave is the only other chest. We're down to 2 chests in here and 1 in the Tablet Cave. And it's not in this one. It's got two well, yeah, got a little bit more MP in case he needs it. But here we go.
Oh, it's a tablet. All right. Well, that red dragon is actually good news for Will, though he doesn't know it yet. It's going to send him back to the castle and get him to search that treasury, probably get him to search the bottom and go through Swamp Cave, too. And if he stumbles across Tablet Cave and gets this harp, I mean...
So Will did all that exploration. He was still on level 2. Wow. But yeah, this sword will get him some additional levels pretty quickly.
Yeah, he didn't have the sword.
There it is.
Yeah, he didn't have the sword, so he couldn't take out anything. But now with the sword, he's going to start slashing through stuff.
Casting Radiant several times. Lighting up the spot where he found the Erdrick sword.
Or is that like he's seen the light now that he's gotten his sword?
Talking and taking and just figuring like, well, I know that my opponent got this a long time ago, so I'm in big trouble. And Stones of Sunlight, just to top it all off. There's a quest item. It's going to go get some more keys and maybe check the basement. And let's see if he actually makes it all the way through the basement for that gold grind that he'll bump into in the back of Garanham. That would help tremendously, because if he dies going through here, he may not come back through here. and then it'll be a long time before he gets the rest of that gear. So here's hoping he gets through it on the first try. Trying to figure out where he is. There we go.
There he goes. Yeah, it looks like Angel has a big lead, and Angel has a few more things done, of course. But again, with that sword, Will's going to be picking up experience really fast.
Oh no, Will finds a werewolf. Oh no, and this is the problem now. Now seeing the werewolf in here, and he's only on level 2, he might figure, well, I better not go back through there for a long time. Oh, so that's just like a really long time before he'll be able to gold grind for the magic armor and the silver shield now. Oh, that's ugly. But wait, he's going in the direction of Swamp Cave. Okay. I stand corrected.
Yeah, I wonder if that's in his mind. He did get some of Main Continent explored, and it does dead end pretty quickly, so maybe he saw a bunch of dead ends and decided this is the way to go. Maybe he's hoping it backstores into Garenham so he can do exactly what, the gold grind like we're thinking. But he's going back after it.
So the experience point lead is just a little over 2,400 points for Angel FM at 2,400 and change to 13. And he still has a little bit more to find. Still looking around for that tablet cave, which is guaranteed to have the silver harp. And I'm sure he would love to find Caitlin in his travels to really narrow down where that Erdrick's armor is. And he's been going for quite a while on this low MP count, but seems to be just fine with that. Getting a little bit of heal walking with that magic armor, and just enough to sort of survive all these medium-sized enemies that he's defense breaking. So actually able to explore quite a bit in between stops here as Angel FM.
Yeah, and he has a nice experience lead, of course, and he's picked up a few more to the token of some more gear and all that, but he still has a few more things left to find. I think there was a cave that we saw on the southeast side of the screen a little while ago. He still needs to find both trading caves. He needs to find the Silver Harp Cave and the Rainbow Drop Cave, and he needs to find the Tablet Cave for the harp. Then you're right, too, he needs to track down the Erdrick's armor, so he's got a couple things left to do.
Yeah, I'm also not sure that he's found both the Staff Cave and the Rainbow Drop Cave, although it's quite possible he did and I missed it.
No, I don't think we've seen either.
Okay, yeah, so there's some exploration left to do for Angel, and a bit more still remaining for WillWagnerMusic. Just a reminder as well for everybody that's still here and chat with us is that at the conclusion of this race, this is the last race of round 1 of the bracket stages, so we'll be reviewing with you guys all of the round 2 matchups, which is the round of 16 for this tournament, single elimination portion of this tournament here. So we're going to go through with who is matched up with who based on how they've moved through the brackets thus far. So stay tuned for that. And WillWagnerMusic is not giving up hope on getting through the Swamp Cave, which is fantastic, actually, because that is his ticket to getting this gold grind and getting some gear so that he can really get moving with Erdrick's sword here. I like that he's being persistent here, just as in a results-oriented fashion, as we know that this is his best move if he can actually get through. Unfortunately, there are green dragons and werewolves in here. Ugh.
Ooh,
it's getting ugly.
Angel kind of finding the caves in the wrong order, finds the Silver Harp Trading Cave, but doesn't have the Silver Harp.
So on level 4, WillWagnerMusic only has 21 agility points, so the end game monsters he's running into, like the green dragon and the werewolf, he's not a favorite to run from those right now. So he just needs kind of a nice, lucky hero walk all the way through this dungeon where he just doesn't encounter those particular enemies, or he needs to get a lucky run attempt on the first try, because with 32 hit points, he can get one shot by enemies that are that strong. But he's continuing to go back into the Swamp Cave, which is good news. But yeah, here's an ambush, and not getting one shot. Does get away, though, so thankfully he has the heal spell.
And the good news is over in Garenham, there are 2 gold chests, and he only has to open up 1 to initiate the gold grind at this point, so he's guaranteed to be able to gold grind regardless. He has seen the magic armor, he has seen the silver shield, so he will know exactly where to pick those up once he gets the gold grind active. And there's Caitlin on Angel FM's side.
He makes it!
Nice, Will. So he's going to be able to get his gold grind going. Yeah, we have the Fairy Flute and we have the Erdrick's token. So if there are coordinates, that means it must be the Erdrick's Arbor, and Hawksness must be empty if they're coordinates. Or if there are no coordinates, then vice versa.
Yeah, so I like the persistence of him going and looking for Cantland while he's, still trying to get the Silver Harp. Didn't want to go back to Hawksness immediately. He does have Heal More and Hurt More now, but didn't bother with that. But now he knows.
Casting
Armor
the
is in
Hurt
Hawksness.
spell on the NPCs, I believe.
Armor and Hawksness, and he has Heal More and Hurt More now.
Casting Hurt on every single NPC he can find in there. He's gonna open the door and cast Hurt on those guys too. No one escapes.
Those two guys, if I recall, will say something like, I'm busy, talk to the other guard, and you turn around, talk to the other one, and he says the exact same thing. So, complete waste of a key in the original game, and as well, it's also a waste of a key in the randomizer. He's going to possibly sell Erdrick's Sword for 1 gold.
Always thinking about it.
No, not going to do that.
Meantime, over on Angel's side, he did find the tablet cave, and he now has a silver harp, so he's got all the quest items.
But wait a minute, didn't Will have the gold grind initiated here? Why doesn't he have more gold than this right now?
I think he's refilling his MP to go hurt some more NPCs. It's still active. He just never did the gold grind. Oh yeah, see, there you go. He needed more MP for...
Yes. I don't blame him.
I mean,
they all deserve it. These NPCs frequently will block your way when you're in a hurry to get to these chests. They all deserve to be hurt. Refusing to gold grind, just walks straight over the chest. And yeah. Meanwhile, Angel FM is actually trying to complete the seed, and we have Hurt More and Heal More here, and he's actually closing in on level 12 as we speak.
Look at Will, he's getting this guy back here too. Not forgetting that NPC. Yeah, Angel got the harp, he's got all his quest items, plus he went to the old man, and the old man had no coordinates for him, so we know the armor is now in Hawksness, guarded by that blue dragon.
Can you imagine if for some reason Will Wagner actually got out of the swamp first, and Angel was still struggling to get off level 1, and Will is running around doing this stuff because he thinks it's over? You never know for sure what your opponent's up to, although I'm sure if there was a declined request for a reseed, you'd have some idea, but I don't know.
I mean, I have to imagine at some point in that 40 minutes, Will made a reseed request, and it clearly was never made by Angel, so you know that Angel's not hanging out in the swamp for an hour without requesting one.
Well, he's decided, I suppose I'll just take all this money now. I don't know. I guess I'm done hurting everybody. So, yeah, here's an opportunity to get some gear. The magic armor is available right here in Garenham. Silver shield available back at Rimaldar. So he needs about 23,000 gold for those 2 items, and he will be well equipped to take on the world. Here's the staff cave, by the way. And I missed where he picked up the staff. He must have gone in and out of the tablet cave while I wasn't looking.
Yeah, he did. One other thing we should mention, we're talking about all this reseed stuff for chat. The way it works is they're definitely not made publicly in the chat room. You PM our tracker or our restreamer, so you don't know if the other person's made a request or not. So from Angel's side, he could think he's behind. He does not know that Will probably requested a reseed, so Angel could think that Will broke out before him. But Will probably requested one, and since he didn't hear anything back, kind of knows, well, Angel probably broke out. But yeah, it's not like a ask yes or no sort of thing. It's you PM a third party, and then if both people PM the third party, then a reseed is requested. But you have no idea if your opponent actually did or not.
Yeah, and I believe that's new for this tournament, because I remember previously it was more like you just said something in the SRL directly to your opponent, be like, hey, you want to reseed this one? And that process was improved upon for this tournament. So that's how it's been for the last few weeks, I guess. And so yeah, and we don't know for sure if there was a reseed request or when that might have happened. It's something we might want to ask them when they're finished with the seed.
Right. We should also point out too, we're just sort of assuming that Will probably at some point in that hour in the swamp requested one, but we don't know for sure. And same thing with Angel, right? He does not know if Will requested one or anything like that.
Oh, so by the way, oh, jeez. So
Oh,
he
did he
didn't
not
get the
save?
magic armor. He didn't get the magic armor from Garanham for some reason, and then also did not save upon using the wings and getting back to Tantagal. So now no longer has enough money for the silver shield that's in Rimuldar, and I don't even remember if the magic armor is also in Rimuldar.
Oh,
So
so
now
he's
he's
got to go
going to
back.
reset the whole thing by opening all these chests, and then has to walk back through Swamp Cave to initiate a new gold grind. So a little bit of tilt happening for WillWagnerMusic. I think a couple of those mistakes would have been less likely if things were going better for him. So it's unfortunate. He is going to refresh some keys here, but yeah, the key would be to check the shop and guarantee, and also upon using those wings, you might want to just go right into the castle, since you have seen things like that hurt more from the Warlock. You probably have run into that armored knight right outside Rimuldar by now. So things can happen en route to the Silver Shield. Might want to take that safety save.
Yeah. So as chat's pointing out, he did get the magic armor in Garanham at least. But
Oh,
over
did
on
he? Because
Angel
he still
FM
had
side,
34. He
thought
still had
so.
24,000 in gold.
Yeah, I think he ground up to like 32 or something.
Even though he already had the sword. Okay. Maybe he forgot that he had the sword. It's always possible.
Yeah, but worse news for Will. Over on Angel's side, Angel picked up level 12 back there. A lot of stats look good. Heal more, hurt more showed up. Maybe only slightly good news is that Angel did check the swamp tile spike tile underneath the castle, and it was another blue dragon. So there's no obvious Axe Knight grind anywhere, or like hurt more enemy grind available, but Angel's gonna go get his armor and Hawksness shortly and be pretty much in grind and go mode, just needing the Rainbow Drop Cave. So
and it looks like Will might actually be giving up on the Silver Shield, taking a second death, losing half the gold again. Maybe, I don't recall if there was a large shield here. He might just be just done with trying to get the Silver Shield. Let's just get the large shield and get started on the seed. Unfortunately, there's no traditional gold grind. If he takes the Death Warp out of the mountain cave or something, there's no gold in the Tantacle treasure. You still have to do it by going through the swamp cave and getting it from Garanham. So, but maybe when you're much stronger later in the seed, that's an easier thing to do. Right now, it looks like he just wants to get going here. Magic armor and small shield is perfectly fine for right now.
yeah, and as it turns out, I'm not sure if Will knows how small Main Continent is, but it is very small. He's going to be going through Swamp and going through Garanham a lot. So actually, there is opportunity to get it later if he decides it's really, really necessary.
And 4125 will be the number for level 13 for Angel FM. And the main thing looking at the numbers here is that strength score continues to lag behind, as we mentioned. It's the only stat that's still in the white, which means it's the absolute no-go for Dragon Lord eligibility. The rest of the stats are creeping up into the orange now already on level 12, which means they're kind of borderline. And if you had a bunch of other good stats, then you'd be okay with these orange stats. But right now, he's about to go pick up his armor from the Blue Dragon Guardian, who has no chance now since he has the Heal More and the Hurt More spells to work with. So our Erdrick's armor, and then we're going to need that Rainbow Drop.
Yeah, the stats you mentioned are orange. That agility should be a very, very, very light shade of orange, though, because at 60 agility, we're not very happy. And even once Angel picks up this Erdrick's armor, his defense power with the Silver Shield and Erdrick's armor, best armor you can find, will only be 80. So we could use a few more agility points as well while we're picking up that strength.
So of note here with this low strength score is how many turns it's taking to beat a Blue Dragon, and I'm not sure yet that he has checked the spike tile in the Swamp Cave, but as you mentioned, that's someplace that you kind of have to go through all the time. Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, it was another Blue Dragon, so not
so there
helpful.
are not much for choices here. Okay, and so he's already just kind of starting the Blue Dragon grind, even though he doesn't yet have the drop.
Yeah, I mean, you might think Charlock, but Charlock's not super close to anything. That's the one nice thing about at least the blue dragon underneath the castle is close by. At least it has that going.
Yeah, WillWagnerMusic seems to be pausing and just kind of lounging around in the desert here. Takes an in stop in between, get some more resources. And so, yeah, so Angel, we're going to see a lot of blue dragon corpses in the future here. Next stop is 5625 to get to level 14. And we're going to want a lot more attack power. And, you know, any other stats that come along is just kind of bonus. So he's just trying to figure out how much he needs to get started fighting the Dragon Lord here. Probably a couple of levels worth of grinding in our future here, but not too far.
Yeah, well, looking at, I mean, he's going to get more MP as he levels up, but looking at 11 heal more's worth there, you'd want somewhere in at least the low to mid 130s in attack power. So we've got a ways to go on that. And he does have the death necklace, but we still have about 25 to 30 more HP you need before you put that on. So yeah, we've got 3 to 4 more levels in our future at least.
I like that Angel has the his little controller showing in the bottom left corner there, just mashing that A button repeatedly. This is how you play Dragon Warrior, guys. You hit the A button very often.
Well, I believe, as chat guessed earlier too, I believe Will had that up earlier, but he probably threw it against the wall and broke.
Well, Will has re-rated the treasury again. So, with some thoughts of going back through and maybe getting some gold from the other side. So, here he goes. The experience point lead is about 4,500 at this point. And probably about 3 more Blue Dragon victories for the level up here for Angel. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's likely to get it on this cycle. I guess it's probably close, but he's only got 1 heal more remaining.
Yeah, it'd be tough on this one, but he doesn't have to worry because he really likes this blue dragon grind. He can find one right back near the castle, so if he dies, not a big...
Yeah, it's always nice to find some way to stretch the MP in this situation where you eke out that level before having to take a death warp or going back to the end or something, just in case it's the go time level. You know, it's unlikely in this case you'd need a giant level up, but...
Man, that would be the best level in the history of Randomizer if 14 is the go level. I'd love to see that.
I've seen it. But yeah, unlikely. So if he doesn't get this last one here, and he's going to try, he's going to do some heal walking, and he needs 1 more Blue Dragon encounter, or maybe he gets some lesser enemies over here and get the level before taking the death. It's always preferable so that you know if you have to walk all the way back to the spike tile or if you can just start going for Charlock.
Well, not to be forgotten, too, Angel is going to try to pick up 14, but he does still need to get the Rainbow Drop Cave somewhere. It's the last little bit of exploration that he's got left. So he's taking a bit of time since he's here to kill some blue dragons, get some experience, but he's not quite in Grind and Go yet because he is missing that one location.
Oh, and he survives that last attack from the blue dragon, but he gets a low roll and unable to take that one down. A little bit of a nuisance. I think he was a pretty big favorite at that point to win that battle, but blue dragons can have surprisingly large hit points. It's kind of a high variance of their range there, and combined with the low roll from the attack power, that was kind of an unexpected death. But now he'll choose probably the blue dragon in the swamp cave since it's a little closer.
And Will's backing Garenham. Those NPCs are going to stay out of his way after what happened to him last time, and he's going to get back his Silver Shield money.
Got to avoid that hurt spell being cast on you.
Boy, good thing for them he hadn't learned Hurt More yet.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Angel is making his way towards the spike tile here in the dark. Not bothering with the Radiant spell that they learned on level 1. But no. Passing right by.
Yeah, maybe deciding to go look for that Rainbow Drop Cave that he's still missing, or maybe also going to try Charlock.
That's possible.
I mean, once he finds the Rainbow Drop Cave, go try Charlock afterwards, maybe, because that Blue Dragon is not a great grind at their low strength.
Figuring surely he'll find some sort of enemy that'll get him level 14. And yet he's running into Drakies and Scorpions now.
Right, that's how Randomizer works. When you want a big enemy, here are your slimes. Where were those an hour and 10 minutes ago?
And using up some MP to deal with the Star Wyvern, so this is no longer any sort of dive and grind, scenario. Let's see what he gets, though. And...
Oh, well, there you go.
I told
that's
you.
Very close.
I told you, you want that level before taking the death.
I'm not sure if that's quite enough. That's close. It's very close. I'm not sure if that's quite enough, but that was much closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I suppose it's time to do a little math here. So 127 attack power gives you 6 to 13 damage overall. And it's a little short. It's a little short, but they do have pretty good amounts of MP. I mean, this is actually really short, and it's to the point where I would recommend diving and grinding for the last level now, because the Blue Dragon grind isn't very fast, and it's also pretty far out of the way. And he has the Silver Shield giving him 91 defense power, which means he's actually defense breaking wizards and werewolves and Star Wyvern and green dragons, and he could be picking those off along the way. So he's going to get the rainbow drop now. And if there's any sort of an in en route to Sharlock, I think that the play would be to go to Sharlock now, but instead he's casting Return.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, we're really close. You're right, he's defense, breaking all kinds of stuff. You need maybe, 4 or 5 more power. You're pretty likely to get that on.
I mean, the key to getting the last level on the way down is the fact that he does have reasonable HP, he's got some agility to deal with some unfavorable encounters, and he's defense breaking enough enemies where he can pick off those monsters while not really taking damage. I mean, this to me is the perfect scenario for getting the level on your way down, especially since the spike tile enemy is kind of a slow fight. So instead we get the Radiant casting here, which means that he's probably going to the spike tile here in the Swamp Cave.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that does have going for it is it's close at least, so give it that. It won't take too long. With that big power boost, that does make the Blue Dragon a little nicer, because he'll be going through them faster.
All right, so while we watch some of these Blue Dragon corpses, if you could hold down the fort, I have an interruption for 1 minute, and I'll be right back.
Yep. I'll hold down the Blue Dragon fort. Will did pick up the Silver Shield, though, so he is kind of off and running, but at this point, he's going to be hard pressed. Gets that nice level, though. Will seeing more swamp. I'm sure he's excited about that. It'd be nice if he could find a way to skip Mountain and Grave and just go directly to... he finds a Wraith Knight instead, though. More Fire Breaths are what he wanted. It'd be nice if he could find a way to skip Mountain and Grave and go straight to Tablet, but I believe the way Swamp Continent's laid out, you're gonna just stumble across those first two first, so I don't think he has much of a chance of going directly to Tablet Cave, picking up the Harp, and skipping a lot of the stuff that Angel did. I think he's gonna find Mountain and Grave and probably full explore those as well, so just the way everything's laid out. Angel's still working on those red dragons. Now you're seeing that was, a 3-shot right there? He's going to be 3-shotting him a lot of the time, maybe 2-shotting him, and he's looking for 9750. Oh, no, wait, we're only going to 15. He's looking for 75. Jeez. 7,500, so he's only a couple away all of a sudden. And we'll see if 15 is the...
All right, closing in on level 15. Looks like he needs about 3 more victories over this Blue Dragon. And you know what I was just thinking about, Rye Guy, and this is totally speculation. What if, because Will Wagner got that Drakey really early, what if Angel had requested the reseed and Will kind of ignored it, thinking, well, I just need 1 more Drakey, And then a bunch of time goes by and Angel gets the level and then rescinds the offer for the reseed.
That was that did come up in chat a little bit. Could you rescind a reseed?
Oh, you absolutely can. Yeah, you can rescind.
Or I guess I should say would you? Because that seems kind of. I had one where I had a reseed in my round 1 where I asked for a reseed, and then I immediately found like 3 slimes and had 3 experience all of a sudden. And I saw the whole like seeds being reseeded. It's like, oh, okay, you just kind of go with it. So I don't know if Angel would reset.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. It's like you just hope to never be in the situation, but it's important to know like the rules and stuff. It's all laid out in the tournament rules when you sign up, and I think that's how it works. Is that you put in to the third party, you put in the request, and then if at some point you change your mind before they accept, then you just resend and be like, never mind, it's no longer on the table. The offer's off the table or whatever. So then, if the opponent 5 minutes later says, you know what, I guess I'll reseed, well, the offer is no longer there. So, totally speculation that may have happened in this case, but it would be interesting because Angel, it took him a while to get that first kill, if you recall, and Will got that first Drakey pretty quickly. So it was 3-0 for like a good 5 minutes, and then Angel got the 3 consecutive red slimes to get to level 2. So, kind of Angel, a crazy start.
Angel picked up 15, and it's extremely close. 128 attack power, you'd want 15 attacks, 13 heal mores, and roughly 104 MP. He has enough to do it, but just barely. And also, by the way, those numbers would assume a low HP Dragon Lord. You might need some above average rolls. So he looks like he's going to go for 16, the slam dunk level. I wonder if he decides to get 16 on the way down, because 15 is kind of borderline. 16 is going to almost guarantee a win. So I wonder if he tries to get that on the way down. If he's getting like 15 and a half here, and he'll try 60 on the way down.
Yeah, I was just trying to think if like the whole reseed thing could factor in, if like he somehow knows that he's way ahead. But I think how it works is that he wouldn't be notified that Will is asking for reseed. It would just be if both reseed requests come in at the same time, then it gets reseeded, right? So there's no way for him to know that he's way ahead.
Yeah, the only one that would know is probably Will, because I'm sure Will asked for it at some point, and when he never got accepted, he must have known that Angel wouldn't have gone an hour without requesting one. So
yeah. To be clear, these numbers work at 15. I mean, like if you're in a close race, like to me, I'm going for it on this level. I think you have agility. Also, it's not like you're really, unless the Sharlock would have to be really brutal to think that you're not going to be running from enemies with 86 agility, and the numbers are there, the attack power is there. So I'm going for it on 15, but I don't know.
If it's a short Sharlock, sure. I mean, there's always a chance if I run into a red dragon or armored knight and there goes a heal more, and great, now I'm behind. Also, what if the Dragon Lord has high HP? Then I need slightly above average rolls, right? Average rolls only get me to about 150, low 150s. So I can sort of see playing it safe a little bit here. This level will take about as much time as a failed Sharlock dive would, especially if you go all the way to the Dragon Lord. So I can kind of see it. I do kind of wish he'd, leave and go pick up the rest of it on the way down at least. But I can kind of see going to 16. This is doable, but a little borderline.
Well, we are only a couple of blue dragons away, and surely there has to be, like, it's gonna... I'd be shocked if it's still borderline on 16. We're probably gonna be like, it's a slam dunk.
Yeah, that's why
I'm sure I just cursed him now. Yeah, but it's tough now because, again, he's gonna be in a situation where he doesn't quite get the level before taking the death warp here.
Yeah, that's why I kind of wish he'd get 16 on the way down, because 16 is almost guaranteed to be enough. And like you were saying earlier, he could just cherry pick his fights. He could take out wizards and Starwinds are a little annoying with their spells, but wizards, werewolves, green dragons, and his defense.
He has to walk through this swamp cave anyways, right, to get to the rest of the world. So
he does.
I mean, he'll probably just pick it up. Even like he might not even go to the spike tile. He might just get it in his travels and just continue on through. He's got to go through here anyways, so no big deal. And if there's any MP gains, he might want to go take an in stop somewhere to take advantage of that en route to Sharlock. If there's mostly a strength gain, then he doesn't even have the outside spell right now. I was wondering if he was going to use it to save a little time, but then you'd have to go to the inn. But I'm going to the spike tile here, I think, just to finish it off. And this one will not quite do it. The Blue Dragon's 180 experience. We have to get to 9750. So this one and one more small enemy would be enough. Will, by the way, has clawed his way all the way up to level 9. He's topped the 1000 experience threshold now, and things are going much more smoothly for him. He's got all the good gear, and like we just saw, a pretty easy victory over Demon Knight there. So just a matter of, there's a ton of exploration that Will still has to do, and obviously he needs more levels, but at least things are flowing now for WillWagnerMusic, and
Yep, he gets his token. Unfortunately, as I was kind of mentioning earlier, it seems like Swamp Cotton is pretty linear, so he's not going to be able to just skip and go straight to the harp. He's probably going to find the 2 caves and all that, and plus Angel's going now, I believe. I completely missed the 16 level. Oh, there it is. Yeah, he's
all right,
going.
we got green numbers across the board now. When every number is green, you pretty much have to go. Yeah, so all the stats are there now. We have 133 attack power, which means that you typically only need double-digit MP, and we have triple-digit MP. It's not you only have a heal more or 2 in reserves, right? So like you said before, if somehow it's a particularly brutal Charlock and you do burn a few heal mores, that's still dicey. But if it's an easy Charlock, then you're a very big favorite with these numbers.
Whoa, Anonymous Gifter giving 10 gift subs. Thank you to Mr. Anonymous. That is awesome. And also, yeah, you go from having a borderline situation now to you need on average 11 heal mores to win here. You're fine. You have many more than 11. So absolutely, this is a pretty stress-free dive, I'd say, for Angel. He's even a coin flip to run from the Red Dragons and Armored Knights, so even they won't give him that much trouble. He could burn a heal more too, getting away from them even, and still be okay.
Yeah, and you're probably even a favorite to get 1 double attack in this fight now, too. Picked up a little bit more on the HP. He's got very high defense power. So, as long as things don't go really poorly on the dive, Angel is a big favorite to win on this dive here. It's going to go through in the dark, going through that first zone, which is the longest zone, but so far the enemies have been pretty easy. Haven't seen any red enemies yet, so...
It's amazing the Blue Dragons are still going after him. You'd think they would have heard about what he did to their brethren and just stay the heck out of the way, right? But there they go.
Man, they don't know any better.
They are persistent, aren't they?
Yeah, so this seed turned out to be kind of middle of the road. Wasn't a fast seed. It wasn't quite as long as we may have expected from that start. Angel's got a chance to come in at sub 90 if he really rips through this Charlock. Right around 90 minutes, and that's about average for a seed.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff at the start if you take that swamp out. Obviously, the swamp is what basically decided this one. But, take that swamp out, and Remulder was 1 screen away with keys, and the sword was in the treasury, and there was a gold grind available that you couldn't miss, pretty much, and there was magic armor and silver shield right near home. I mean, there's a lot of things given to our runners here as Will finds the grave, and of course he's going to go explore it, because he needs lots of things. We know it's empty, but he needs lots of things, so... If not for the swamp, this might have been a jet seed.
Yeah, and I didn't notice any wombo combos by Charlock enemies out in the overworld and things. So Angel, once he got moving with all that gear, he was just making progress pretty steadily through the map. Not particularly challenged once we got off those early levels. So
yeah, and you do see Will making the same progress over there too. So
yeah, so this is just one big story for the seed. Is just that start in the swamp.
Yeah, if you take the swamp out, this would have been a really fun, really close race, too, because they are both... I mean, like I said, Will's progressing very quickly now, just like Angel did.
Yeah, kudos to Will for continuing through on the fight. We saw one other situation kind of like this earlier in the round with the Spark overmatch, where a runner just can't get off those early levels, and choosing to finish it out, which is good for the viewers. Gives us at least something to watch. It would be a little bit tough if somebody just forfeited, 20 minutes into the seed, but... Oh, and Will's going to continue to the bottom levels of the grave while Angel is approaching the mini-boss.
Yeah, interesting that Will is going to the bottom. It's the same thing that I said earlier with Angel. All you really need is the harp and maybe a death necklace. I guess right now at Will's level, he sees the strength is low and the HP is high. We know that the death necklace won't come into play on looking at Angel's side, but Will doesn't yet. So you're thinking maybe there's 2 things in a chest you might care about. You're really going to go look for those 2 things underneath when, Mountain's out there with 5, but both our runners deciding just check them while they're there. And that looks like a stone.
I mean, in Will's case, he doesn't even have Heal More and Hurt More yet, so it's not even a guarantee that he can get down there. But he's doing the same thing with the Star Wyvern, by the way, with the stop spell strats. That's a very high value enemy at this stage when you only have somewhere around 1,000 or 1,200 points. It's worth 105. So nice strats by both runners to take down the Star Wyvern early in the seed.
Yeah, they're basically free once you land the stop spell since they're so spell happy. And Angel got to the Dragon Lord with all his MP, all his resources, so this should be pretty much a slam dunk free thing here.
All right, so 13 heal mores to work with, and the range for damage would be 8 to 16. So we want to see not so many single-digit attacks. That would indicate maybe a little bit of a struggle. If he's getting basically all double-digit rolls, then he's good to go. And we might even see a double attack along the way as well.
Yeah, and he has extra heal mores to work with, so he gets some low rolls. It's not the end of the world. He came in with, I believe, like 2 extra heal mores on average. So, and like you said, he might get some doubles here.
He would need a lot of single-digit attacks for us to even be close. So 8 to 16 is the range.
Yeah, we don't want to see all 8s, but if we see a few of them down there, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Still have an outside chance of getting sub 90 on this seed. It's going to be close. It's a nail biter. So I haven't been keeping count, but I assume he's a pretty big favorite here. I think he's been getting reasonable rolls, not taking any chances on the heal more, just healing when necessary. Got plenty of HP, got very good defense power. He can't get hit for more than 48 at any time. There's a 48.
Yeah, it looks like chat has it at 96 plus 11, so 107 now. Yep, there it is. So it would be very, very difficult to lose at this point.
And Will gets the death necklace out of the bottommost chest, so he's full cleared the grave, and he's going to maybe cast outside. He's choosing what to drop here.
Yeah, they don't have outside at that level. Angel fell into the same problem, so he might Death Warp, or they're pretty far away from the castle, so he might decide just to walk out and continue his exploration.
All right, Angel is a hit or 2 away from victory here.
I think he could guarantee with an attack there, but he's going to be safe and heal more, because why not? Derek goes with a max attack. Doing it in style. Angel FM killing the Dragon Lord. He finds the ball of light, and he is going to win this round 1 tournament. Get your GGs out for Angel.
All right, and he will be moving on to face High Spirits in the second round. Mark your calendars. That is going to be a great race to watch sometime next week. WillWagnerMusic has instantly forfeited upon seeing the news. Looks like he's just going to continue the fight here, but he's not going to attempt to get any sort of time in the books.
Yeah, I'm sure that came as relief to him too, because now I'm sure he never wants to see the seed again. He'll probably take this seed and throw it in a swamp somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think these runners are both experienced enough to know about swamp starts and that it's possible, and like how you generally have to move through them, and it's just really kind of heavily luck dependent. And one runner just was a little bit on the right side of that in this particular start. So I'm trying to see if Will is mentioning anything, but he seems to be stopping his play right there. So we'll see if either or both of these runners want to join us in a minute or two.
Put this seed in a dumpster, set it on fire, and launch it to The sun, Xpag. I'm pretty sure Will Wagner will be right there with you doing.
As you mentioned, WillWagnerMusic did phenomenally well in the league play, which was over the winter, and we'll probably have another one of those tournaments probably this winter again. So, he will. We'll look forward to seeing how he does in that one. And again, everybody, stay tuned. After post-race interviews, we will be going through, now that all the matchups are set, we'll be going through the round of 16 matchups, right after this. And I think they've both agreed to step in. So who do we have here?
It's like we have our victor, Angel FM. Congrats. Congrats on making it the second round, and GG's.
Thank you very much.
So I feel like we have to ask, how about that start? Fun, quick start, huh?
Oh, it was great. 5 strength, 12 HP seems great, and then swamp everywhere. So first thing I do is just laugh out very, very loud.
Yeah, during the, all the kind of butterflies of having to play a tournament race, to have something like that just thrown at you in the first minute. And I can imagine just laughing out loud myself. That must just be like, oh, what?
I mean, it's bad, but getting heal on level 2 wasn't that bad. So all in all, it could have been worse.
Yeah, and then that sequence of events after that where, Rimbledar happens to be right there, and the bonus cave, so you can get the keys with the money, and then you go back and you get the sword out of the treasury, and then there's a gold grind for the gear. So, you handled all that pretty well, so that, you were ready to get started after all that.
Well, I also want to give the Wolf that MVP for killing me before I could get the full plate, so I can actually go back to Tentagel, do all that, and get everything.
We were wondering what it was you were targeting there, and I was wondering if you were going to try and go all the way for the flame sword, and then, what if the sword is in the treasury and he does all this to get the flame sword? But yeah, you took the death right outside the cave, and the rest is history. So we also have WillWagnerMusic joining us. I really appreciate you coming in to chat with us. Thanks for that, and I just want to get your thoughts on what was going on in the early portion of that seed.
If I could keep it under 100 deaths, I thought I was in good shape.
Yeah, according to our COD counter, that did not happen.
So what exactly happened?
That's it.
Yeah, Will was stuck in the swamp for about 45 minutes, so the race was basically over already. But it was fun to see how you played through the rest of it anyways.
Oh,
I thought I could make it close if I started casting Hurt on the townspeople, but I couldn't intimidate them.
We saw that. I appreciated it. I commented that they were very lucky you didn't learn no hurt more at that point. I like that you got everyone.
Particularly the townspeople in Garenham, since they're always such a nuisance to walk past when you're trying to get to those chests. They definitely deserved it.
Yeah, and I was so angry. I even opened that door you don't go through to cast it on those two, just because I feel like they enable it.
Oh man, and you got the wizard outside too. I mean, you definitely covered all your bases there.
I had to go to the inn, but it was worth it.
Well, we appreciated that in the midst of, having to watch what must have been a lot of suffering for you in the early going. So it was good, good to have a laugh about it afterwards.
On a serious note, I got a first Drakey kill pretty quickly. At 35 deaths or so, I was like, well, if he doesn't want to reseed, he's either a glutton for punishment or out of the swamp. And then once I got to 75 and I was still swamp bound, I was like, okay. And then I ran into that Drakey and he jumped me. And I was like, okay, this is fate.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on because I wasn't sure if you were going to ask for a reseed or not. But I mean, I got through it in 10 minutes by just finding red slimes, luckily.
Yeah, and you never found the red slime, Will, right? In all that time, I think you never ran into a red slime, which is like, that's got to be extremely unlucky.
I think maybe around 40 minutes or so, I realized what had happened. I'd gone north out of the castle initially, and I ran into the Drakey in my first 2 or 3 encounters out of the castle, and it went really well. And I didn't go east often because I had gotten that one Drakey encounter, and when I had gone east and slightly north, I started getting some of those bad encounters with warlocks and everyone. And I think the zone for the castle was just that square to the right of the castle. But because I had some troublesome encounters there, I kept on going north, hoping I'd hit that Drakey, and it took me 85 or so deaths before I got there.
Yeah, the zone transition just seemed to be like right very on the east, maybe one above and one below.
See, when I went above, I was still getting those warlock battles, so I thought I had to go on there. But because the Drakey were also able to take you out, I thought I had to get there on the first step or I would be doomed. I didn't see a red slime literally until 85 deaths or so.
Yeah, that's the unlucky part, is that you knew that it wasn't even guaranteed that you could kill a Drakey. So that's what I thought, is that you were just going kind of up into that zone just because, like, well, if I've already taken 3 or 4 steps in, I probably can't even beat a Drakey on 4 hit points or 2 hit points. So at that point, just take the death and try and get it on the first step again. It's just thoroughly frustrating to have to deal with that situation, and it's a shame that it went so poorly for you.
It's a little bit of a hedge maze kind of situation because I wondered if I'm like, oh, am I using an emulator where because I hit the reset button, it goes back and it starts from that same point,
Yep.
and I'm
We
not
were
doing a
discussing that
keyframe thing?
also.
I was using Nystopia, so I'm like, duh.
Yeah, we were discussing that also. Maybe just keep resetting to the same file, because there was a streak of times where you couldn't get an encounter. So you would reset and then you would walk 6 steps, no encounter, reset. And so we were wondering if that you were just kind of stuck in a bad RNG situation there, where you were resetting to the same point and you just couldn't find a monster for probably 20 trips through the swamp. You just didn't see one.
Yeah, and that's why at certain points I was saving and doing different things and trying to change that, but because I didn't know if I was losing time because I had to wait for that death animation music. Like, if I was losing those 3 seconds, which turned into an encounter every 5 times around, maybe that's what kept me from leaving the swamp. So I wanted it to go as fast as possible. And then I'm like, well, maybe I'm messing up the RNG. So then I started to save it and cast Radiant and do different stuff walking wise, and it still didn't help. So I was like, well, maybe it's just not meant to be.
So I'm not sure even what else to ask about for this entire seed, except I guess for Angel, did you consider maybe trying at 15 instead of going up to 16? Or if you weren't going to do that, did you maybe consider diving through Sharlock and getting it on the way? But no, it turned out you just went back to the Blue Dragon grind all the way up to 16.
I thought about 15 pretty hard, but I figure the blue dragon grind's gonna be pretty quick as it is, especially since I got enough defense just to survive it enough.
Yeah, so you were basically taking it out and then healing after battle, and then so the fights were going pretty quickly. You didn't have to heal during battle for the most part. So yeah, understandable. Just that was kind of the safest bet, is to go back to the spike tile, just get 16 while you were there, and then go in with full resources. So yeah, cool. It seemed like it was really close on 15. Or because you had the silver shield, maybe you could have picked off some enemies in Sharlock as well. But I don't think you had been in there, so there's no way to know what was waiting for you in there. So yep, just went with the safe choice, got it on the spike tile, and then after that it seemed like it was no problem. I think it was a pretty easy Sharlock once you got in there.
Yeah, it's very easy. I mean, if I was gonna lose this match, it was gonna be because Will got very lucky before I did. Other than that,
Yep. And so with that, that's going to be it. It's a single elimination portion. That's going to do it for WillWagnerMusic. But you had a great run in the Swiss rounds, and we were talking. You had an excellent showing in the league over the winter. So hopefully you'll continue to sign up for these tournaments and make a huge impression.
Yeah, just you can't do anything about it. I think in a couple of the Swiss rounds, I found a metal slime, and I ended up getting some breaks there. So either you get the encounters, you don't, and sometimes it's randomizer, sometimes it's Russian roulette, and sometimes you get the bullet, and sometimes you get the empty.
All right, that's a good way to look at it. And and for Angel FM, congrats on the victory. You'll be moving on to the round of 16, and I believe your next opponent will be High Spirits. Any thoughts about that?
I appreciate getting a bye for the next round.
Yeah. Good luck with that. I'm not sure that's going to work out.
No, but seriously, he's really, really good. And I mean, apparently I just have to fight, the top 3 players this whole entire tournament, so why not?
Yeah, you already faced Mr. Holmes and Ness Cardinality in the Swiss rounds. So, yep, it's you're running the gauntlet so far, and you're still alive. And you're in the round of 16, so congrats on that. Anything else, Rye Guy, before we move on to announcing the brackets for the next round here?
I don't think so. Just GG's to both Angel and Will. Just for making out of that swamp. I feel like you should win the game just for making out of that swamp. Seems like once you guys made out of that swamp, everything was all right. But boy, that was a brutal start. So GG's to both of you for getting out.
I'm kind of disappointed in myself because when I was caught in the swamp at some point, I'm like, well, now I want to go for the record. Because if you're going to do something and die, you want to go for the best. And once I got out of the swamp, I'm like, well, now it can't be the worst seed ever because I got out. So that was disappointing. But other than that, I think everything went okay.
I mean, you definitely set the record for most townspeople hurt in a tournament match. So we'll put that one up on the wall for you.
That had to be a record.
If I had enough cursed belts, I was going to try to cash in a princess. But I figured, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'll be able to do it. And when I found the first cursed belt, I was going back through the dungeon and I saw the dot done. I'm like, well, that's the end.